Welcome to a new episode of Hacks and Hobbies with your host, Junaid Ahmed.
Good morning and welcome to a new episode of Hacks and Hobbies. Today is a special edition. I'm excited, super excited. I talked about Tony Robbins and Gary Vaynerchuk last week on a few of my episodes. I will get to go see them live, perform live. The act of motivation, act of dispensing real valuable information to, I'm not sure how many thousands of people are going to show up, but I know there's going to be thousands of people. The check-in time is between 7 and 8, and I am running a little late. I was hoping to leave home by 6:30, but unfortunately that did not happen. But suffice to say it, I am on the road at 7 a.m. on August 22nd, 2018. I am just speechless at this moment, but what I do know is that I am going to be getting a lot of information, refreshing a lot of information that I've known or I've heard these two masterminds speak in the past through their books, through their cassette tape materials. It's just going to be amazing. Gary Vaynerchuk's Crush It was an important milestone for a lot of entrepreneurs. Crushing It showed how those entrepreneurs made a life out of what they love to do. With Tony Robbins, he's got so many programs, it's just amazing. Personal Power, Mastering the Edge. You know what? I don't even remember any of his program names, but what I do know is Tony Robbins is a monumental figure in my mind to give me the enthusiastic kick in my attitude. So, anyways, this is going to be a short episode. I just wanted to let you all know that today is the day. I will be at the center, which is in. It's called the Eagle Bank Arena in Fairfax, Virginia, and this is just going to be awesome. I initially thought that it was going to be in DC, but Virginia, Northern Virginia, anyways, is considered part of the DC metropolitan. So yeah, I've got 21 more minutes before I get to the place. I did not know what to bring at such an occasion, so I just brought my laptop, power supply, iPad in my backpack. And I was thinking, do I need to bring my DSLR camera to take some photos? I don't know, maybe not, but I brought it anyways. The least I could do is just leave it in the car. I did forget my trusty portable tripod, but I think I do have a monopod in the trunk that I could probably use. But yeah, there's just things going through my mind. I'm just spitting them out. I am super excited. Two of the guys that I've known for some time. One is a colleague of mine that I work with. He'll be at this event. I have not messaged him yet if he's there already or not. And then Errol Artuman. He's been blowing up the LinkedIn videos, all the other social medias, including Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. He's been posting videos. He's been posting this one important thing. He wants to meet, or he wants to ask a question to Gary Vee. This question that he has uncovered, he claims that Gary Vee has never answered. Of course, we don't know the question, but the suspense is kind of killing me, and I hope to learn the question and hope that Gary Vee answers this question. But it's going to be exciting. You guys have been great support. I appreciate you listening to my ramblings about bees and biking and woodworking and whatever else comes to my mind. If I were to talk about something very specific that's close to your heart, what would you think that should be? If you have any questions, please use the Anchor app, anchor.fm. They have a dedicated mobile app for the iPad and the iPhone, which I specifically use to record these podcasts. So if you have any question in your mind that you think I may be able to answer or I may not be able to answer, please get the Anchor FM, look up Hacks and Hobbies, and send a message. That's the best way that I can get your message and answer your question that you might have. I figured with over 20 years of experience working for somebody and working for myself in small doses, there's something that I've dabbled with here and now. Again, feel free to send a message, and it's up to you to subscribe or not. Again, I'll be posting information about whatever it is I'm working on this podcast. Next up, I want to talk about some of the bees and what I've decided to do after speaking with my beekeeper mentor. So yesterday, I finally got to speak with my beekeeper mentor. I don't know, there has to be a much better word for beekeeper mentor, but that's the most accurate two words I can put together that explains who this person is. Nate Muller, he is my beekeeper mentor. He runs the Fairfax Bee Keepers Club here in Reston, Herndon area, along with the board. Now, I missed the meeting, the very important um, club meeting last Monday, um, and I can talk about that later, why I missed the meeting. But let's get into what questions I had for Nate. So during my inspection last weekend, I was able to deduce that I have about eight or nine frames full of honey that if I wanted to, I can harvest. Now, Nate mentioned that going into winter, the bees would like anywhere from 80 to 90 pounds of honey in the hive so they can survive through the winter. And what do you mean by surviving through the winter? Well, during the winter, the bees are clustering, and to keep clustering, they need to vibrate their tiny little bodies, and to vibrate, they need food. And of course, where's the food coming from? Well, that's why they store honey, lots of it. So calculating 8-9 frames of honey would amount to somewhere around 50 pounds, since 1 frame is about 6 pounds. So 6 times 8, 6 times 6, 36, 42, 40. So it's about somewhere around 50 pounds of honey in the hive right now if I were to harvest every single drop of it, even in the brood frames. But I'm not going to do that because I would like the bees to overwinter and give me lots and lots of honey next spring. Because as soon as the pollen season opens, boom, they are going out there and collecting honey like no nothing. And that's where you put the honey supers. That reminds me, I need to order the super honey flow supers um, to get ready for spring. All right, so he said yes. So I asked him, can I harvest this honey and, feed them sugar water and put in new frames and whatnot? He said, you can absolutely do that. They will need 80 pounds of food to go into winter. So if you're going to be feeding through the winter that 80 pounds of honey or 80 pounds of sugar water, then sure, you can go ahead and do that. You can go ahead and harvest it. And I was like, well, what if I harvest half of it? He's like, you still have to feed them no matter what, so they can build out those new frames or fill those new frames with more honey or sugar water, so they can then, survive the winter. So I've been contemplating, should I do it, should I not? And he said, I've got a spinner extractor if you need it, centrifugal extractor. If you need it, you can harvest 4 frames, get some honey, and feed them at least 40 pounds of sugar, which equates to about 80 pounds of sugar water. I could even do 2-to-1 sugar, and then so between 50 and 80 pounds of sugar water is what I'll have to eat them. I'll have to feed them. Fun fact: if you haven't heard of this um, Middle Southeastern or Southeast Asian or Pakistani Indian delicacy called gulab jamun. A gulab jamun is a delicious, delicious dessert, and I was asking my wife because she makes them really good, and she was telling that yes, she uses 1-to-1 sugar water mix for the syrup. Of course, she's doing some cooking as well. She's cooking that sugar water, so there's some water evaporating. I'm guessing that sugar water, that syrup, is probably 2-to-1 mixture. I will have to, of course, do some research and figure that out. But yeah, so that is something to think about to do for my beehives. If I want to harvest the honey or not. I still didn't get a chance to inspect the Saskatraz beehive yesterday due to the weather. We had on and off rain. In the evening, it got really bad. It was a lot of pouring. So if you're in the DMV area, you'll know that we had some crazy weather fluctuations, and yesterday was not a great day to have an open beehive. That reminds me that one of the videos over my course of researching bees and learning about them, and mentioned by Nate, is that you should, whenever you go to the apiary, you should bring a quiet box. And we're like, what is a quiet box? And he said, well, it's simply a box that's got the bottom and top covered, and you take it And when you pull the frame out of when you pull out the frame, you can put, how do I say it? When you pull out the frame from your beehive that you're inspecting, once you're done inspecting this frame, you can put it in a quiet box and continue working on other beehives. One other thing that was mentioned by an apiary expert researcher on YouTube was that he had these black covers that would help keep the light, keep the temperature, the heat from escaping in a beehive. So it was just a leather cover that went on top of the open beehive. So that way your bees are, calm and collected. You don't have to use a lot of smoke because, gosh, I used a lot of smoke in the last inspection on the Alexandria hive. And I don't remember if I mentioned it, but I think I might have crushed a few bees. Anyhow, that's the update on what I'm gonna do. I'm planning. Oh, I forgot to mention how much honey is in 4 frames. 4 medium frames is about a gallon of honey, maybe a little over a gallon, based on what Nate had mentioned. Now, it's not as much as you as I would be able to collect in a frame of honey if it was the honey flow supers. Those frames are much deeper. They can contain up to a gallon of honey in each frame, maybe more than a gallon. I'll have to double check, of course. Um, so yeah, I can basically get away with a gallon of honey and replace that with 80 pounds of sugar water, and I think we'll be pretty good with that. And one thing that I'm just reminded of is somehow the trunk of my car is open. All right. So, anyways, um, a gallon of honey out of 4 frames. So it's going to be exciting. Thank you for listening. I am coming close to my destination. Thanks for the support. Looking forward to talking to you in the next episode. Again, feel free to leave me a message, ask me questions about beekeeping, about my other hobbies that you think might be um, interesting. Thanks again. Till next time.